Okay. A very warm evening to one and all who present here. I am Purnachandru, co-founder of Tech with Mech, Adichunchandgiri Institute of Technology, Chikamagaluru. It's give me a great pleasure to welcome you all to this Ultimate Placement Guide webinar. A hearty welcome to Dr. G.M. Satyanarayana, our HOD of Mechanical Engineering, professors, speakers, and my college mates and students and teaching faculties from other colleges for your presence. I am very honored to specially welcome today's speakers who are from our own college. Mr. Nishant, our alumni working at Recruiting, Bengaluru, and Mr. Shivprakash from IS department who got placed in Infosys. Lastly, I would like to thank all who are the part of this webinar. Now I would like Rakshat to take over the platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Purnachandru. Thank you. So today I am going to introduce our two speakers. Firstly, I introduce Nishant, who has been graduated from our college, Adichunchandgiri Institute of Technology, at 2020 from EEC department. He has worked as an intern in Buzzy developer during his third year of engineering and worked as an intern at Rakuten during final SEM, and now he has placed as an associate software engineer in Rakuten. He has conducted several webinars and workshops in our colleges on various topics. And I welcome him on behalf of my team and college. Welcome to you, Nishant.
Thank you, Rakshat. Thank you so much.
Now I introduce our senior, Shivprakash, who got placed at Infosys. He has been campus ambassador from Intershala and ECell IIT Bombay. He has also participated in Avishkar Project Phase 2 held at VTU Belgaum, conducted several workshops on DBMS and mini projects, has also conducted debates and also completed his NPTEL course and got Silver Plus Elite certificate, and also been a freelancer who helps students for mini projects and major projects. So I welcome Shivprakash on behalf of my department, college, and my team. Welcome to you, Shivprakash.
Thank you, Rakshit.
So let us not waste the further time. So I hand over to Nishant. So you can commence, Nishant.
Sure. Okay, can you confirm if I'm audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yes.
Sure. So, hi guys. I see most of you guys are from AIT. So, some of you might have seen me and some of you might have not known me. So, just a quick intro of myself. So, I've graduated from AIT Chikmagalur in the 2020 batch. And right now I'm working as an associate software engineer in Rakuten, India. So, coming to my personal hobbies, I love speed cubing. I travel a lot and I do a lot of photography, which I have an Instagram page for. And today, so basically, we'll just be talking about a few of my experiences and certain tips that I have gathered over time for getting a good performance in your interviews and how you can talk well in your interviews. So, of course, I'm not a very experienced person in this matter, but I'll just be speaking about the experiences I have had till now and what I feel is the best thing to do. So, I see the whole lot. There are many people from, I guess, the CS branch. So I am guessing this is mainly for the people who are aiming for software companies. So let's start with the basics, like what are required and what you need in order to face an interview. So if you're actually wanting to work in a software company, so the main thing that they expect from you since you are a fresher is that you have a basic fundamental knowledge of any programming language as such. As far as I know, there have been like many companies who only look only for skill in just one language. You don't need to know every language on the earth. You just need to know one language well, and you have to have a certain level of logical thinking and problem solving ability. So this is your main focus that you need to put on. So let me start with how you can start to prepare. So I'm guessing most of you are from maybe third year. I see a few second year students also. So how do you start to prepare for an interview, or how do you start to prepare yourself to learn a particular coding language? So coding is mainly related to your problem solving skills and logical abilities. Because you can get codes, you can get syntaxes right on Google right now, right? Nobody who is, if you just speak to people who are working in the software industry, you would come to know that most of them don't even remember syntaxes for a certain function or anything like that. So it's mainly, the logic, what you have to do, and it's basically a bit of googling around, searching stuff, and then implementing whatever we need to implement. So as a language, you don't need to put too much stress into understanding every single thing that is there to know about a language. So a language is just a medium of converting whatever logic you have in order to solve the problem. You just have a medium in order to convert that into a working program, right? So as far as people who are from the CS branch and I guess EC branch, you guys would have already learned a good bit of programming. CS branch and EC branch, I guess, like you would probably have somewhere C or C plus plus, maybe somewhere you would have encountered in your first years, and maybe in your third year you would have learned about C plus plus and data structures and stuff. So I guess that is pretty solid knowledge through which you can be able to face interviews. So how do you start? So just pick up a particular language, whichever you might have encountered before, say C or C plus plus. So people who would have done your computer science in your second PU, you might be a little bit familiar with any one of the programming language. So just pick up that language and start learning the basics. So there are a few basic things in a language. So you have standard ways of declaring variables, initializing variables, and you have standard ways of writing functions and stuff. And then you need syntaxes for like loops, and you have if else statements, switch case statements. All these things just remain constant throughout every language. So if you take out any programming language that are there, these are the concepts that would be there in all the programming languages. So these are the stuffs first you need to get very acquainted with. And going forward later on, you can focus on stuff like data structures, which is very, very important. So it might not be very important or very relevant in your initial stages of your career, but as you grow, data structures and algorithms are going to be a major part of your career. So you need to also start focusing on that. So it's very easy to tell that you need to start learning a language and do stuff and all these things, but how do you actually start, right? Many people have this dilemma of I want to do it, but how do I start? So a very, very easy method of starting would be like just pick up a project. So say you start with a web project. Say I want to make an app that will show me the weather. It's a very simple concept, right? But when you work on that application, you will learn a lot about that particular language that goes behind building it. So it might be JavaScript, or it might be any front end language like React.js or AngularJS that you would use to design the front end language. And you can also implement a backend where you can store the weather of historical data. So you can also learn a bit about backend like MySQL, and you have other type of backends like NoSQL backends, maybe MongoDB and stuff like that. So these are the things, and then you will also be familiarized by what is required in a particular application. So you might need to know about APIs. So APIs are stuff which will allow you to interact between the application using the API. So these are the general things that comes into picture when you look in depth into a web application or any application as such, be it an Android application, iOS application. Every application requires these stuff. So a backend, a front end, and APIs. So these are the three major components that are required in an application. So when you pick up a project, something related to just a simple project, maybe displaying the weather. So that is a very simple concept, right? We know that we can get the weather in many other websites. It's not a original idea, but you can start to work on it in order to understand these concepts. So this is the first step that you can take. So and learn as you start doing the project. So in that matter, you will be learning where to apply the things that you learn. So this I have seen to be the best approach you can follow in order to learn a particular programming language. Pick up a project and start working on it, and Google a lot. So Google will provide you with loads and loads of information which you would not even find in many books. It has consolidated information of everything. So you might take a particular book, there might not be some information in that book, but you can find it on Google, right? So always Google. You can learn a lot of new stuff in Google and Google and Google. So this is one major part how you can start preparing for your technical interviews, right? So when it comes to technical interviews, now let's get to the interview part. What happens in an interview and how you need to face it, right? So when you are in a technical interview, so the usually what they do is they will ask you a certain, say, a few questions based on the basics of a programming language, and then they would straight away jump into a coding problem, right? So they would give you a problem and ask you to implement it in any language that you know. So language will never be the barrier. They'll ask you to implement in any language you know. So what I have seen most of the time is, like, when the interviewer gives the questions like this, so they or the students who are attending the interview immediately jump into coding. So that's a very bad thing to do, because you still don't know what you are going to do. You have not analyzed the problem. You straight away jump into coding thinking that once I start to code, I'll start understanding the problem. This is a very bad approach. So a good approach would be to start explaining what approach you would follow. So say if it is a calculator application that they ask you to write, so it's a simple example, right? So you start, ask them whether there is a possibility of negative numbers, ask them whether there are possibilities where you would get answers as infinity. So these are all the separate cases that can occur in your program, right? And then explain to them the various approaches that you have to the problem. So tell them, like, one approach would be you would ask the user a selection to select whether he needs to do multiplication or subtraction or addition, and then you'll ask him two numbers, and then you will perform that operation on these two numbers. So this is the approach. So explain this approach to your interviewer and explain the logic that you would follow in this approach, right? So in this matter, so what happens is the interviewer gets to know about your thought process. So since you are seeing the interviewer for the first time and he is seeing you for the first time, it is very difficult, or not difficult, but it is it is very important that you deliver a good first impression, because this is the first time you are speaking to him. So the more you explain your thought process to the interviewer, the more better he would understand about what kind of logical ability or what kind of problem solving abilities that you possess. So this is a very good approach that you can follow in technical interviews. Don't straight away jump into the coding part. So first, start with the approach, ask whether there are different conditions that might occur. So these are called the edge cases. Edge cases are basically the cases which can appear. Say, for example, if it is a calculator application, getting infinity as the answer might be an edge case, right? Getting negative numbers as input is an edge case. So these are the stuffs which would not be there in a common input. So if I say common calculator, you would by default assume that it is positive numbers, right? And some of your logics might not work if the numbers are negative, or if it is returning a very huge value, it might not work. So these are the conditions that you should ask your interviewer, and sometimes they might also assume that certain conditions are not there. So these are the things that you will get a very clear picture about, and then explain the logic and the approach that you're following, and then start with the coding part. So with the coding part, sometimes you might forget the syntax, you might forget stuff while writing the code, and it's not at all a problem. You can always tell the interviewer that I'm not remembering the syntax, and I'll just I know what to do here, but I'm not exactly remembering the syntax. Say, for example, you want a syntax to append a particular number to an array, and you don't know what is the syntax. Say it's dot append or dot add, you don't know the syntax. Just tell the interviewer, I'm not sure about the syntax, but I know I have to add the element to the array here, so this is what I'll use, and I'll be able to get the syntax from Google anyways, right? So following this approach, you would be able to convey your thought process right to the interviewer. So the interviewer will be very sure whether you're capable of solving a problem or not. So this is what they're aiming for. Most of the times, they don't even bother whether you are able to give the correct answer, whether you are able to create the program which works also. So the main thing the interviewer looks at is how you think and how you approach the particular problem. And once you're done with this approach, you can start exploring the cases that they have given. Say, if they don't give a test case, take a particular test case. Say, if it for calculator, take a test case where you have two negative integers, and take another case where you might have float, so that is decimal values. So when you do this, the interviewer gets to know that you are focused on the end to end product, not just on the code. So this way he would know that you are capable enough of solving the problem, and also identifying what might be certain edge cases which might not occur in the regular scenarios. So these are the few tips that I feel would be very helpful for the technical interviews, right? And along with the technical interviews, you'll also have HR interviews, right? So for HR interviews, the main, the a devil question that is everybody is very scared of is basically, tell me about yourself. So how do you tell, how do you give a short introduction of yourself? It needs to be very concise, right? So you can start with your currently, if you're pursuing your degree, tell that. And then next you can start with like telling about a few stuff you're interested in. Maybe you're interested in some programming language, or maybe you're interested in dance and art and stuff like that. And give a brief introduction of yourself. It need not be very long. It can be very short, and it needs to be very precise. So it needs to be in a way that you're conveying your character through your introduction. So it is a very crucial point in an interview. So giving a proper introduction will always make sure that you strike a very good first impression with your interviewer. So this is one question. And right now, since you are attending your interviews as a fresher, so I guess most of the companies will not be asking any questions related to salary negotiation, since they have a fixed package, right? So that is not a thing to worry about right now. So as long as HR interview is concerned, so you need to be very confident in whatever you're answering, be it the wrong answer or the right answer, whatever it is, be very confident. And if you don't know anything, feel free to tell that you do not know about it. It's always good to express that you don't know something, rather than trying to make up some answer on the spot and failing to do so. That will always leave a negative impact on you. So always try to focus on being very confident, right? And always strike up a good conversation. So that is the major thing that you need to do in the interview, to strike up a good conversation with the interviewer, because they are also human and you are also human. So the more you communicate, the more they get to understand about you, and that will be a very good first impression that you are leaving on them. So maybe there might be some person who has done excellently well in coding, but when it comes to HR interview, so he is not able to speak properly. So these are the cases that actually happen, right? So people clear coding rounds in their interviews, which are very difficult, very complex, and then come and fail in the HR round. So why this happens is because you're not confident enough. Be confident, and always be bold, and speak up, like whatever you need to tell, and just tell it. So always make sure that you're not keeping thoughts which are not expressed. So it's a better way of making sure that the conversation is two-way, not one way. It shouldn't be like the interviewer asks questions and you answer. It should be both the ways. Like you also can ask questions about the company, understand about the vision of the company or the mission of the company. So all these things are certain questions that you need to prepare, right? So always have these set of questions prepared. So you can ask about, how is the work life balance in the company, and what is their experience in the company. So these are all the things that show the interviewer that you are really interested or keen on joining the company. So I think this is like the major chunk of it. So be confident, and whenever you speak, make sure that you're actually conveying whatever you're thinking. So that is a major thing that you need to do, and focus on improving and developing your fluency in the language or the vocabulary in the language. Read a book. So that is like the best way that you can improve your language skills. And these days, like, you watch series and stuff. So turn on the subtitles and constantly keep reading. So involuntarily, you will start, understanding or getting new words, and you will start implementing or using those words in certain situations which you wouldn't even know, right? So always make sure that you read stuff. So don't ever stop reading, because reading is a very good habit. It gives you the vocabulary, the confidence, it builds your character very well, right? So read good books, and I think that is pretty much it. So, like, if you have any questions, so we can take up in the QA, and I can answer whatever I know. Yes, yeah, it's pretty much it. Over to you, Rakshat.
So before taking up the questions, I would like to let over the Shiva Prakash. If we would like to talk a few of the things of share his experience during this lockdown, because it was very difficult getting placed in the companies. So I want Shiva Prakash to give a talk on his experience.
Okay, Rakshit, thank you. And very good evening to all present here. I am Shiva Prakash from Department of IS, pursuing final year. When it comes to my senior and your senior, Nishant has shared his experience and some tips and tricks to crack the interview and all. When it comes to the experience of mine for the Infosys, I have before placing to the Infosys, I have shortlisted for the entity data. I have cleared 2 rounds in the entity data, online coding round, aptitude, and GD group discussion. And when it comes to the technical round, what I faced is network issue. Before going to any interview or any exams and all these things, you should be good. You should check that you have good internet connection with the laptops and all, and you should take where you where you feel that you can freely attend without any disturbance and all these things. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು I come to the Infosys ಅಲ್ಲಿ Infosys preparation plus interview ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ರೌಂಡ್ aptitude ಎಲ್ಲ ರೌಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು, and then I cleared it. And Infosys ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಶೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಸಮ್ ಡೇ 4 PM ಗೆನ ಇತ್ತು, ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ 19 minutes. ಸೊ ನಾನೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಐ ಲಾಗ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟ್. ಬಟ್ ನಾನೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಂಗೆ ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಆಗಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಐಡಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ. ಲೇಟರ್ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, 4:19 ಆಯ್ತು. ನಾನೇನ್ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡೆ, ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಶೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮೀ ಈಸ್ 4:19. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಶೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಫಾರ್ 4:09, ಬಟ್ ಐ ಥಾಟ್ 4:19 ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ 19 minutes ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ನಾನೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು ನನ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ವೈ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸೋ ಲೇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಅಂತ. ನನ್ಗೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ then I thought that it was scheduled for 4:19, but I was joined late ಅಂತ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಸರ್ ಸಾರಿ ಸರ್, ಆ ತರ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಓಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅವರು ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿತ್ತು ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಂದ್ರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಾ HR ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂವರ್ಸ್ ಇದೇ ತರ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ ಡೇಟಾದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂದೆ, ಸೇಮ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ, ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಗೆ ಕರ್ದೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನಾಗಿದೆ, ಅದೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲೌಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನೋ ಕೇಳ್ದೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನಾಯ್ತು, ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ ಡೇಟಾಗೆ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋದು ಅದೇ ಕಾರಣ ಅನ್ಕೊಂತೀನಿ. ಬಟ್ ಎನಿವೇ ಇನ್ಫೋಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಆದೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಬಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾನೊಂದು ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ ರಕ್ಷಿತ್? ಶಾಲ್ ಐ ಶೇರ್ ದ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್?
ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆಪ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್. ಓಕೆ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ರೆಡಿ ಇದೆ, ನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್.
Is my screen visible, Rakshit?
Yes, visible.
Word document. Hello, Rakshit.
ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದೆ. You can proceed.
It's visible.
ನಿಶಾಂತ್ ಅಣ್ಣ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಏನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ತುಂಬಾ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಬಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಇದೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಒಂದಿದೆ. ಲಿಂಕ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಅಂತ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಕೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನದ ಹತ್ರ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಅನ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಲಿಂಕ್ಡ್ ಇನ್. You can easily get connect with the company people HR. You can follow to the companies, and you can easily connect it to the you can get updates on the job updates and all these things. And ನನ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ರೆಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಲೈಕ್ NPTL ಕ್ಲೌಡ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟಿಂಗ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅದು ವಿತ್ ಗುಡ್ ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ನೀವು ಕೂಡ NPTL ಮತ್ತೆ Udemy, Coursera ತುಂಬಾ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಫ್ರೀ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ರೆಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ. ಅಂಡ್ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನೇ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಲೈಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಕೋಡಿಂಗ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಕೋಡಿಂಗ್ ನ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು ಅಂತ, ಹ್ಯಾಕರ್ ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹ್ಯಾಕರ್ ಅರ್ತ್ ಅಂತ 2 ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ತುಂಬಾ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಕೋಡ್ ಚೆಫ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನು ಏನೇನೋ. ಬಟ್ ಇವೆರಡು ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ನೋಡಿ, ನೀವು ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೋಡಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು ವಿತ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್, ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಂಗ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ನೀವು ಇದನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು, ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ತುಂಬಾ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕೆಲವು ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಗೆ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಕೋಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ C itself or you need to code in the Java itself. ಬಟ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಗೆ ಏನು ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಡಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಸ್ ನ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ನೀವು ಯಾವ್ದು ಚೂಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೋ ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಚೂಸ್ ಎನಿ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಈಗ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ನೀವು ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಇದು ಏನು ಕಂಪೈಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದನ್ನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನೀವು ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಕಂಪೈಲರ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ GDB ಕಂಪೈಲರ್ ಇದೆ, ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮೈಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈ ತರ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಬಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಮೆನಿ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೆನಿ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ಕೂಡ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಬಟ್ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಯೂಸರ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಚೂಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಬೇಕೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಆಪ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ರೀಸನಿಂಗ್, ವರ್ಬಲ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಏನ್ ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾನು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಬಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ರಕ್ಷಿತ್ಗೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ವೇದ, ಟಾಪರ್ ಅಂತ ಈ ತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬಾ ಸುಮಾರು ಇದೆ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಬೇಕೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಆಪ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ವರ್ಬಲ್ ಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ರೀಸನಿಂಗ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಇದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಬುಕ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಮೆಕ್ಗ್ರೆಲ್ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಬುಕ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಹರಿಯಾಂತ್ ಒಂದು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಬುಕ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಂದ್ರೆ, ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡೇ ಸೇಮ್ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಕಳ್ಸಿದ್ದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಅರ್ಜೆನ್ಸಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಮೇಲ್ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಕೊಡೋ ಬದಲು ಲೈಕ್ ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಿಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ದ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್, ಈಗ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದಾಗಿರೋದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಇಮೇಲ್ ನ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ಅವ್ರ ಅರ್ಜೆನ್ಸಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ, ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ನ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರು ರೀಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದೇನು ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ನ ರೀಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ತರ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ವೈಲ್ ಫಿಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೇನೋ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಾನೆ ಮಾಡೋದಂತಲ್ಲ, ಬೇಕಂತಾನೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಏನಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಬಿ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ವೈಲ್ ಫಿಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ದ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ವೈಲ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ದ ಮೇಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ನನ್ಗ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಈ ಮೇಲ್ ನೋಡೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಇದು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇಟ್ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ ಆತರ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವ್ದೇ ಮೇಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಮೇಲ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಮೇಲ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏನೋ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಈಗ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಶೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದು 2 days 3 days ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ. ಸೊ ಏನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಹೇಳಿ. ಅದೇ ತರ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಅಪರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್ನು ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಿದವ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ನ. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಅಪರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ನ ನೀವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ. ಅಪಾರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ರಿಕ್ರೂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತು, ಲೈಕ್ ನಾವು ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಆತರ ಅಂತ ಏನೇನೋ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಆತರ ಏನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬಾ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಬಂತು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೋರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ 100 ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ನಮ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲೇ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕಂಪನೀಸು. ಅವ್ರು ತುಂಬಾ ಸಿದ್ಧಾರ್ಥ್ ಸರ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದನೂ ಲಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ನ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಭಯ ಪಡೋದೇನ್ ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಈಸ್ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಯಾವ ಕಂಪನಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಏನ್ ಬೇಜಾರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಗೆಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಡ್, ಏನ್ ತೊಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಚಿಂತೆ ಪಡೋದೇನ್ ಬೇಡ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರಿಕ್ರೂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಸಿಚುಯೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದಿದೆ ಇದಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್, ಏನ್ ತೊಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್. ಓವರ್ ಟು ಯು, ರಕ್ಷಿತ್. And we are free
I guess
free to...
It was a very beautiful session from two of you. You have shared your experience as well as your thought process to all the students. And I request all of you to stay another 5 minutes of session. I would call Mr. Karthik. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, he's going to talk about like 5 to 10 minutes about the government exams. If you are focusing on any government exams rather than going for any IT sectors or private jobs, so he's going to take over for about 10 minutes. So it's over to you, Karthik.
Thank you, Rakshit. Basically, great thanks to Mr. Nishant and Shiv Prakash. Shiv Prakash is my batchmate, but he's from information science, and I am from the branch of mechanical. So basically, when speaking to government exam, many of you guys may have planned.
Just a second. Sorry for the interruption. There is some disturbance from your side. Can you please check?
From my side?
Yeah, from your side.
One second. Is that good now, or still any glitches?
We can still hear some disturbance.
One second. I think you guys can just go with Q&As if you have for 2 minutes. I will just change my earphone.
Okay, friends, if you have any queries to ask to our panelist, you can just go through chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and talk. I have a question to both of you. When to start the placement training? Like how to, at what time is the right time to start for aptitude, logical, right, like that?
Yeah, sure. I'll take that question. So there's as such, like, it's never a right time. The faster you start, the better, right? So all these aptitude and logical, whatever you study for this, right? So you have plenty of resources, and it's it's a one-time study kind of thing, right? So if you know the formulas and stuff, you'll be able to solve the problems, and there are a lot of logical stuff. So it's a kind of make a practice of solving such questions. Maybe start from your second year or third year of engineering. So I guess like most of the colleges nowadays have something called placement training, where they teach students about these aptitude and how to face the questions with aptitude and all these things. So that should be sufficient. And on the technical front, it's better the sooner you start. So the more maybe you start in the first year, by the end of fourth year, you would have a very good hold on maybe at least one language, right? So it's always, it's a relative time. There is not a specific time where you should start, because if you are entering engineering with the mindset of getting a job, it should be in your mind from the day one to start for the preparation, right? So it's a relative thing. It's not like you need to start in the second year or third year. It depends on, person to person based on their interest, basically. And actually, to add on to that, Shiv Prakash shared a few online compilers and the list of the coding platforms, right? So I would suggest go with lead code, because with lead code you have a very good, the standard of questions are really good. So you get questions which are asked in Amazon, Google, and companies like this. So you get to know what kind of questions they are asking and what is the actual, what do you say, the solutions that they're expecting. You can find the solutions also very easily, but try it on your own first. And if you're not able to solve it, the solutions are always there. And LeetCode is an excellent platform. And you can, for the online compilers, to add on to what Shiv Prakash shared, there is one compiler called as repl.it, right? So this compiler is very good. So you can compile any language, almost all languages. And the advantage of using this is you can automatically export this to GitHub, right? So if you create a GitHub account, you can automatically export this to GitHub, and you will be able to add that to your resume. Add that to your resume. If you do a good project, you'll be able to add it to your resume as well. So go ahead with these compilers. There are plenty of options, but I feel these are the best ones that you can choose and go ahead with. So yeah, did I answer your question, Rakshat?
Yes. But when did you start?
Okay, I never actually thought of a specific time where I started. So for the aptitude, I really did not, sit and prepare for it. It was basically I just went and attended it. So for the coding part, I wouldn't say it was a practice kind of thing, but yeah, maybe in the second year I started with Android development. So that is when I actually got introduced to coding, and from that time, I think that is the point where I actually started my career with coding basically.
What about Shiva Prakash? When did you start preparing for aptitude like this logic?
From second year itself. We started coding part and aptitude. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಲಿನೆಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ನಂಜೇಶ್ ಸರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಂತೋಷ್ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್ ಇದ್ರು. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಡೈಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ನೀವ್ ಈಗ್ಲಿಂದಾನೆ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟಿಗೆ ರೆಡಿ ಆಗಿ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಆತರ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೇನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಡೈಲಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆ ತರಾನೇ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ವಿತ್ ಆಪ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕೋಡಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್. ಆ ತರಾನೇ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
So I guess everyone got their point. So from today only you can start practicing day by day at least 2 to 3 questions. So I guess Karthik has joined now. Karthik, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm on the line. Is any glitches right now? Like, is it fine?
It is fine. You can take over for about 5 to 10 minutes on government exams.
Sure. We had two beautiful persons in the room, like Shiv Prakash HV from IS and our so-called brother, who I never met in my college circle, like Nishant. I have heard about him very much. Thank you guys for sharing your experience to some IT students who are yet to come to the IT fields, maybe on their core branches as well as the IT fields, like some companies like Infosys, TCS, and so on. Now, moving to the government exams, I would share my experience that I have cleared the National Defense Academy in the year 2017 and Combined Defense Service exam in the year 2019, and I just cleared the written exams. So there may be some guys who are mainly from EC branches who want to go, or from CS who might want to join IAS, like or some other courses like engineering services. So I would simply suggest you guys some beautiful ideas is like that. You guys should prepare from your own books. Like if you are joining to Indian engineering services, the main focuses will be just on your subjects. Like it will be beginning from PCDS for computer science, like programming, C and data structure, from the beginning till the final year of engineering of your computer science. Like there will be every subject related to data structures as well as the programming languages. And whenever it goes to EC, it will be from signals as well as some different topics which you are studying throughout your year. So if you guys feel that your percentage of getting 60%, someone might have said you, this is the thing I would like to add. There might be some person saying you that getting 60% of marks in total year would be enough for you to get placed. But if you guys are really focusing on government exam, I bet you must get around 80 to 85% in your academics so that you could pop up on. Basically, a few weeks ago, there was an entrance exam called as SSC, which was for Army and as well as Navy. It was not on-field work, but it was like a government general as well as some office works. The cutoff percentage from engineering was about 80 to 85%. So I would really suggest all guys that if you feel that ನಾನು ಒಂದ್ 2 ವರ್ಷ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೀತೀನಿ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ 3 ವರ್ಷ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ, ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಓದೋಣ, ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಮುಗಿಸೋಣ. There guys must have a plan that if I won't get a job, basically not ITs, if I won't get a job in government exam, I must have a backup with me, that is an IT job or something else. ನಾನು ಬರೀ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೀತೀನಿ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ there may be many people who can do it, but there are some glitches in your life. Maybe ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, you may not be well, so you could not take it, so that you have to still wait for one more year. I will give you a great example. My senior brother, he has attempted DC exam for 6 times, that is IAS for 6 times. In the 4 times he has just not cleared the exam just because he was not well. He dropped ITs and he then went to plan for the government exams, but he didn't do that. Now he is suffering because he don't have that work to do, so that he could just make his money used to the company, so that you guys could not ask after even completing engineering. You guys may not ask your parents like to get trained in some companies, rather than you work on your own, and from the money you get, you can just practice the government exams as well. So one more thing is that start preparing from today on, because whenever you join IT, you may ask from the brother Nishant. He may say what is the pressure and what will be the workload. You may not even get 5 minutes to get free. And if you plan that, okay, ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆಯಿಂದ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ತನಕ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋಣ, ಸಂಜೆ ಮೇಲೆ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಓದಕ್ ಹೋಗೋಣ, it will be like getting doomed into well and saying that I can jump up. It is not at all possible. There may be some persons like 2 of 10 or 2 of 50 who can do this because of their own interest and that own confidence of them. But I feel that you guys should prepare from now on. Now coming to the government part, like if you are writing IAS, then there will be 2 topics in the options where you can either take sociology or some other politics related, or else you can go with your engineering part. If else, you guys have to be good at aptitudes, which will be a great impact on all your placement drives as well as the government exams. Whenever moving with engineering services, you need every bit point of your engineering thing which you learn from now on, so that it could be helpful for your exams as well. So start preparing. Don't feel that marks are getting 35% of mark or getting passed is just enough. Study well. You might have seen the papers from VTU have been very tough. And don't just think there is one more glitch in some people's mind. If there are some non-ITs, I don't think there are any non-ITs here. Even for ITs, you have a doubt that what if I don't get a job? As Shuprakash said, you guys try until the end. There will be some exams which will be waiting for you. There will be some jobs which may be waiting for you. Which are waiting for you is that Baguru, I am waiting for you, and you are searching for something else. So try everything. Don't get depressed for 2 to 3 companies. If you don't get TCS, you might have a chance in Accenture, not Accenture, maybe in Infosys. Shivprakash, as he said, he gave a beautiful example that he didn't get placed in entity data, but he did not lose hope. Instead, he made it to Infosys. Infosys also one of the good company. And coming to my part, I have cleared TCS as well as Infosys. And now I have cleared, I'm not cleared, just I have attended the final interview of Accenture, and the results will be out at 8th. I don't know what will happen. But being an non-IT, clearing these government exams, I feel that you guys should prepare well from now on. I think the time is already up. I have taken more than 5 minutes. So prepare from now on. Don't neglect each and every part. Learn from many. Shivprakash has given you many websites. It is more than enough. Everything will be easy until you feel that it's easy. If you take it as illa, namge agalla, tumba kashta irutte, I bet it will be more tougher than you think. So one thing I would like to say is, if you feel everything is easy, it's always easy. And if you feel something is tough, it will be easy, but the mindset of yours will make it tougher. So I would really like to thank Rakshat for giving me this opportunity, as well as a huge thanks to Shivprakash as well as Nishant, and great thanks to all the people, all the students, all my juniors who has joined this webinar. We feel that it was a good experience for you. Anything you guys need from IT, you can just contact Rakshat, so that he may give my number in case you have any doubt with the government exam, so that I could help you in every way. Thank you, Rakshat. You can carry on.
I should thank you, Karthik, because this session happened because you requested for this. So Is there any queries or doubts? The Karthik will be the tomorrow speaker for the non-ITs. Even though the IT people can attend the session on 10:30 a.m. So, is there any queries? Is there any doubts you would like to ask the speakers, the panel, about government exams or about preparations or about their experience? Already they have shared. Is there anything? You
Yes,
can just
sir.
unmute yourself. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Myself, Shashank. I'm from Davangere. Sorry, I'm not of your college. I got this link from in a WhatsApp. It was a really an informative session, and I just wanted to know. I'm an EC student. I just wanted to know that there is a say that we should be aware of the subjects of CS like OS, DBMS, computer networking. Is that so necessary?
Yeah, so it's not like a necessity kind of thing, but it's good to have knowledge on all these stuff, right? So if I'm not wrong, in your AC syllabus, maybe somewhere in your second year or third year, you would have networks and OS as well as subjects, right? So it's good to have knowledge on this, but it's always a thing you can do for your learning purposes. So it's very good in understanding, basically you know how a programming language works, what is happening in the system when you're actually programming it, and ACN is basically, it gives you an idea about how the connectivity happens. So right now, there's internet, right? So how does the internet work? So what is the components of internet, and how does the communication take place between two different indistinct systems? So all these things are knowledge that will help you a lot even in your coding. It might not seem relevant in the beginning, but it will definitely help. So, but it's not like an absolute no kind of thing, but going further you will need to know all these stuffs.
So, like for the interview purpose, also it's required.
They don't actually like focus much on that part, so it will be like a very top level kind of questions. So you can google certain questions that would occur very frequently in interviews. So in OS there are a few concepts like deadlocks and round robin scheduling. So all these are like very common questions. So I'd suggest you just take a look at those things, but I don't think it's really necessary to know it in depth. But going forward, you will definitely need to know it. It's very good to know it in the beginning itself.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So other students can speak to the speakers. You can unmute yourself. It feels happy that there are students from all over Karnataka, various regions.
Hi, is I'm audible? My name is Harsha. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Harsha. I am from 8th Sem. Let me know the importance of LinkedIn and GitHub accounts and how to maintain LinkedIn.
Okay. So LinkedIn and GitHubs are like officially the two things that give you an edge over all the other people, right? So GitHub, basically you can use it in order to make your project open source. So say you're working on a project, right? So you're working on some project which would definitely make a good impact on the people, right? So what you can do is create this project, put it on GitHub, okay, make it an open source project, and you can request people to contribute to your project, right? So you might not know certain stuff, so you can ask people who know certain stuff to contribute towards your project. So this is what is called as an open source project. So so just a very powerful technology, whatever open source technology we have right now, it's really powerful, right? So that is the main importance of GitHub. So you give the basic just give me a second, I think my headphones have a problem. Yeah, am I audible? Hello.
Hello, yeah, you are audible.
So did you miss any part? I don't know, because my headphones got disconnected in between.
Maybe you could just repeat what you said again. It'll be okay.
So basically, yeah, I was talking about GitHub, right? So this is where you can actually put your projects and you can request people from, the open source community. There are many people who have been
So this, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm having some problem. I'll just turn off my video.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, give me a second. Sorry for this. Yeah, I'm audible now.
Yeah, yeah, you are.
Yeah, so that is the major importance of having a GitHub profile, right? So even I have a few projects that I've put it. So it's basically one, you can think it of, storing your projects. Another thing is if you want to go further, develop your product. So in that case, you can, request people from over the world to contribute towards your project. So that is the main importance of GitHub. And coming to LinkedIn, right? So LinkedIn is like Facebook for companies, I'd say, right? So it's a very good platform in order to build your network, right? So when you go into big companies, say Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and all these companies, right? It's very difficult for the say you apply through their websites, right? So it's where the chances are very rare that they pick up your application because there are thousands and thousands of people applying. So what can LinkedIn help here is basically contact some recruiter from that same company and get a good conversation going and directly ask them whether there are certain open positions available, and you can send them your resume, and this will speed up the process. That is one advantage. Another advantage is that it will get ensured that your resume is at least looked upon, right? So there might be chances of your resume getting completely missed in case of you're applying through online and there are so many people applying. So there are chances where your resume might get missed, right? So this is where you can use LinkedIn, build a proper network so that you know many people. So you can find people from all over the world on LinkedIn working in different companies, speak to them, understand how stuff works in their company, and understand what you need to learn in order to grow. And these are the things that you can get through LinkedIn. So it's a very essential thing that you need to have in order to develop a network. I guess, yeah, those are pretty much of the importance about GitHub and LinkedIn. I hope I've answered your question. Are you there?
Yeah, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
If there is any other questions, you can ask.
Feel free to unmute yourself.
Or you can just drop it in the chat box below.
And even from YouTube viewers live, you can also put there in the live chat. We are going to read to the speakers. 20 participants are watching through YouTube too.
I don't think there are any other questions, Rakshit. Maybe we can end.
Yeah. Is there anything the panelist would like to add? Nishant?
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, just go ahead and, start preparing for your interviews. I mean, don't look at it as just preparing for your interviews. Look at it as building your skills and growing yourself as a person, and learn everything every day. Basically, learn one new thing, one small new thing, learn it every day, and don't stop that. The moment you stop learning new things, that is when you have stopped your growth. So I'd say that is the best way to make sure that you are growing at a good rate. And read books and start learning one new thing every single day. I guess that would make a lot of difference in your life. And yeah, lastly, I'd like to thank Tech with Mac, Rakshat, and all the other members for providing me this opportunities, and the audience. You have been great. Yep, thank you.
Hi
There is one
everyone.
question. Okay. Continue.
Hi, my name is Pranavi. So I'm from EC department. So are there any jobs based on our core subjects?
Yes, I think you'll have many based on VLSI.
I'm not sure whether these companies come for the campus recruitments, but you can definitely check out. So LinkedIn is a very good platform where you can find out companies which actually deal with this. And as far as I know, VLSI is a very good field that is there, and there are plenty of companies that have opportunities for your core fields, right? So right from even ISRO has opportunities for your core field. So there are many companies. So just go ahead and look through that. As of now, I'm not sure which are the specific companies that deal with this, but right out of my mind, I feel like ISRO is a very good option if you're looking at core related jobs. So you can, I think there is an exam that you need to give. The syllabus are similar to GATE syllabus. And over and above that, you can take a look in LinkedIn to find out which are these specific companies and try approaching them off campus through LinkedIn, and that would be a good thing, I guess.
Thank you.
A short notice, in 7 months there are going to be a GATE 2022. If you are going to get ready for any competitive exams like GATE XC paper, so there is still 7 months left. If you are planning for ESC, then literally there is 1 year left, so you can prepare from now onwards. So there is one question about the government exams in chat box. Sir, how we will prepare for competitive exams like IAS, UPSC exams?
To prepare for the UPSC exams, guys, first thing you need to cover is complete all the chapters which you learned from 6th, basically from the class of 6th. You need to go with the history part, basically the social science parts like history, politics, geography. And there are 2 parts like UPSC with IAS and Indian Engineering Service or Engineering Service exam. Both are the same. If you really want to go with engineering service exams, guys, you need to start from the engineering topics that you are studying from the beginning, like from the first semester, related to your branch till the end. If you are from EC, there are many thousand topics like systems and signals or analog and digital. There are many such things. So if you are planning for ESC, you need to be very good, very good in your engineering topics. Like every point, like every chapters and every even small points too. But whenever you go with UPSC for IAS and all, you need a great social science topics, idea and social science topics like history or politics as well as geography and all. And you need to be very good in aptitudes as well, like logical and not verbal, logical and quantitative plays a major role there. And having these 2 things at the very beginning, at the very first part, would be very helpful for you to get the prelims, to get cleared in the prelims for the part.
Okay, Rakshat, can I answer? This is Harsha. Can I continue the answer?
Add on.
Okay, this is Harsha of 8th SEM, AIT. Okay, ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ UPSC IAS ಹೇಗೆ ಆಗೋದು, ಕ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಬೆಟರ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಹಿಂದೂ ಅಂತ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅನ್ ಬ್ರಿಟಾನಿಕಾ ಎನ್ಸೈಕ್ಲೋಪೀಡಿಯಾ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ. ನೀವು ಇರೋ ಬರೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಓದ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಆನ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಎಡಿಟೋರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೇನ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ರಿಲೇಶನ್ಶಿಪ್, ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ನೀವು ಓದ್ಬೇಕು ಆಸ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್. when you grown up, you need to neglect sports topic, political agendas ಗಳು ಮತ್ತೆ ರೀಜನಲ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ನೀವು ಇಗ್ನೋರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಆಸ್ ಕಾರ್ತಿಕ್ ಸೆಡ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟಫೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಹೌದು, ಯಾರು ಇಗ್ನೋರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ನೀವ್ ಹೇಗ್ ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂತೀರಾ ಅಂತ. ಯಾವ್ದಕ್ಕೂ ಟಫ್ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಟಫ್ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಕೊಂತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್, ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ದಿ ಹಿಂದೂನ ಓದೋದನ್ನ ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಬೈ ದಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೋತ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್. ಒಂದು, ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ವೊಕ್ಯಾಬ್ಯುಲರಿ ಇದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಗೋಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ the goal is not to read a book. The goal is to become a reader. So you have to master your things. And likewise, I need to stress on the point that NCERTs are the best for preparations. NCERT ಗಳನ್ನ ನೀವು ಓದ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಫ್ರಮ್ 8th to 12th. ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಜಿಯೋಗ್ರಫಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಪೊಲಿಟಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಡಿಷನಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಪೊಲೈಟಿಗೆ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಕಾಂತನ ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜಸ್. ಬಟ್ ಈಗ ನೀವು ಆಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದ ಹಿಂದೂ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಕೆಲವರು ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಗೋ ವಿತ್ ಹಿಂದೂ. ಅಂಡ್ ಮೋರ್ ಓವರ್, ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ದ ಟಾಪಿಕ್. ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ನೀವು ಈ UPSC ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಓದ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ, ಏನ್ ಓದ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗೋ ಆನ್ ಚೆಕಿಂಗ್ ದ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ IAS ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ವಿಷನ್ IAS ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ IAS ಬಾಬಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಆಮೇಲೆ PIB ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಅಪ್ ವಿತ್ UPSC ಅನ್ನೋದು ಟಫ್ ಅಂತ ಏನಲ್ಲ. BA ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. BSc ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಕಾಮನ್ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅದು ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇದೆ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಏಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ಬಿಗ್, you will at least get a PSI, or you can clear. If you're ready for UPSC, you will get easily pass off your KS. That is, you can become a Tahsildar, and upon stages you can be an IAS also upon your works. So it is also an easy, not tough anta enilla. The only thing you need to know andre ಏನ್ ಓದ್ಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನೀವು ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೈಲೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಏನ್ ಓದ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಪಾಸ್ಟ್ ಔಟ್, ಯು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್. ಲೈಕ್ ರವಿ ಡಿ ಚನ್ನಣ್ಣನ್ ಅವರ ಅಂತ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ IPS ಆಫೀಸರ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ IPS ಆಫೀಸರ್, IAS ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ದಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರಾಶ್ ಬಾಟಮ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಗಿಂತ ಈಗ ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓನ್ಲಿ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಡೆಡಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಿಟರ್ಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಟು ಯು Rakshit.
1 second, one small thing to add, Rakshit. Harsha ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ everything is right. Like you start reading newspapers, you go with some things. ಇವಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾವ ತರ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಗುರು ನಾನು 3 years ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ. ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ಸಮಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್, ಬಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಗೇನ್. 2-3 ವರ್ಷ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಾಳೆಯಿಂದ ಲೈಕ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇಂದ ಓದೋಣ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮಂತ್ ಇಂದ ಓದೋಣ. The thing every UPSC aspirant should have is you should start from the beginning. You are already too late if you are writing an UPSC exam. You might have started from the first year as well. Like if you are focusing, you want to write it in 2 to 3 years, you have to start from the very first year. Now you are too late. You need to prepare a timetable. First common thing is that for all UPSC aspirants, you prepare a timetable. On the timetable na ready ಮಾಡಿ. Okay, morning ಇಂದ ನಾನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. As he said, start with the newspaper in the morning, go on with the editorials, not the sports thing, and focus on what is really needed. First thing, now before the timetable, as Harsha ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ಏನೇನ್ ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ಯು ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ ದ ಹೋಲ್ ಡೇ ಫಾರ್ ದ UPSC. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ಗಳು, ಮನೆ ಕೆಲಸಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟು ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾನು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ IAS ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೆ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟು ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ನನಗೆ 1-2 ವರ್ಷ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು, ಮನೇಲೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಜಸ್ಟ್ IAS ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಫೋಕಸ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಯು ಗೈಸ್ prepare a timetable in your mind first, saying that I should do it, I need to prepare it. That's the first thing you need. And going with that, you prepare a timetable for what you do, what should you do daily. Don't leave a break saying that you are on match. But now as it is in PUBG has been started in India, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಕ್ಕಲ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೆಯೋರೆಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಬಾರ್ಡರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಫೈಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ ತರ PUBG ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂಚೂರು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೂ ಟೈಮ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪ್ಲೇ. ಐ won't say that don't watch movies, don't go with Instagram, don't play PUBGs, but make a schedule of everything you do. Plan well, prepare well. Government exam ಬರೀತೀನಿ ಅಂದವರಿಗೆ all the best. Anything you need guys, you can contact me and Harsha for government things. We may share you the links as well. ರಕ್ಷತ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀವಿ ಲಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ, ನಾನು ಹರ್ಷ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. You can share it in the group as well. That's all from me.
ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಅದೇ, ಆಲ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್. ಏನೇ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದು ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರನೋ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾರ್ತಿಕ್ ಹತ್ರನೋ ಬನ್ನಿ. ಇಫ್ ವಿ ನೋ ವಿಲ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಯು ಇನ್ ದಟ್. ಯಾವುದೇ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಆನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ನೀವು ಆಪ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ವರ್ಬಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗುಡ್, ದೆನ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. Go to you, Rakshit.
If there is any doubt, you can directly contact our DM has on the WhatsApp group. So we will upload these doubts to the respective panelists and we will collect their answers. I guess the session has already it's been a time. So at the end of the day, I would like to say is whatever you do, even the private jobs or government jobs, anything, consistency is very important. That is what the summarizes this event. ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಒಂದಿನ ಕೇಳಿದೆ, ಜೋಶ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ, ಏನೋ 1 ವೀಕ್ ಫುಲ್ ಜೋಶ್ ಇದ್ದ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಟಚ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಏನೇ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಇದ್ರು ಅದೇ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಸಮರೈಸ್ಡ್ ವೇ. ಸೊ ನೌ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಓವರ್ ಟು ವೀಣಾ. ವೀಣಾ, ಆರ್ ಯು ದೇರ್?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Take it.
Okay. Good evening to all. It's a great honor to propose the vote of thanks on this day. I'm Veena, studying 3rd year mechanical engineering from AIT and member of Tech with Mech. Every time Tech with Mech always brings some interesting topic towards us through webinar and all to update our knowledge. So this time we picked a wonderful topic that is placement guide, and I hope all of you have enjoyed this session. When it comes to speaker, Mr. Nishant of alumni of our college, working in Rakuten, and Mr. Shiv Prakash, the student of our college in IS branch, placed at Infosys, and Karthik, senior of our college from mechanical department, and Arsha, also the senior of our college from mechanical department. They were wonderfully shared their experience towards us. I believe that at the end of this session, you have came to know how to prepare for placements and government exams. And I would also express my heartfelt thanks to CT Jaideva sir, the principal of our college, and Dr. Satyanarayana sir, the HOD of our mechanical department, and Mr. Vilas Patwe sir, and all the faculties of mechanical department. And I thank the members of Tech with Mech for showing their interest in covering the event with good heart. And lastly, I would like to thank audience for your patience listening, and thank you one and all. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. You can start leaving, and there will be another session tomorrow. If you want to join, you can join that as well. Thank you.